You're on the Appropriations Committee, and you've got your eyes, obviously, on the future health care negotiations that were promised coming out of the government shutdown. Does this make you worry that another shutdown may be around the corner?
No, not at all. The original shutdown, and thank you, Joe, for talking about me being on appropriations. I'm actually a chairman on appropriations. I chair the Energy and Water Subcommittee, so I have been involved in the appropriations process very, very closely. And that's why I was so disheartened by the Democratic shutdown over this tangential issue, the healthcare subsidies, that has nothing to do with the appropriations process. And since the Democrats caved on that because they couldn't stand on that, they're going to have to try to find another issue. They lost the shutdown because they hurt the American people. I'm going to focus on either before January 30th or by January 30th, us conferencing the remaining 9 bills. We've done 3 that are passed into law: Milk on VA, Ag Approps, and Legislative Branch Approps. To our credit, that is done. We've got 9 more to go. I'm an optimist. I think we will get it done. I do think the Democrats hurt themselves on the ACA issues with the subsidies by bringing that in extraneously to a process that had nothing to do with it. They were making more progress before this. They hurt themselves with a lot of folks, particularly on the right.
Well, I know that you see it that way, Congressman, but we're 6 weeks out from Obamacare subsidies expiring, and you've got John Thune promising next door a vote on this. And I know there are even some Republican members, I won't say the name Marjorie Taylor Greene out loud, but some Republican members who've actually made quite a fuss about rising premiums. At some point, something needs to be done, right? You either extend this or you replace it with something. What do you think it should be?
Well, bear this in mind. These were COVID era policies that were actually put in place. So this is not from the original Affordable Care Act, from the original Obamacare. And I would agree, we need as a nation to have comprehensive health care reform. But this just shows the Achilles heel of Obamacare, of the frailties. It was doomed from the inception. Many parts of it have fallen apart. It's not been what it was promised to be by President Obama and the Democrats back then. We need, as Americans, Republicans and Democrats, senators, members of the House, to really look at where we can actually fix the healthcare situation. The left has gone crazy. They want Medicare for all. They want these subsidies. But again, this was a non-issue. This was totally outside the process. Everybody in the Beltway knew this. That's why when the Democrats caved in, they had nothing to stand on. That's why so many in their base are upset. As for Ms. Greene, I respect her opinions and the like. As you see, she's going to be leaving the House, vacating her seat. She's my neighbor right to the south, right across the Georgia line. She's in my media market. I wish her well, and we look forward to the next special election, which a Republican will win with ease in March.
I suspect that that's true based on the makeup of that district. The White House plan that's just been delayed, Congressman, apparently includes a 2-year extension of the Obamacare subsidies and new limits on eligibility. There'd be some, for instance, income caps for enrollees to qualify for ACA tax credits, as well as minimum premium payments. Is that something that you could get your arms around to keep premiums from rising?
I want to look at what comes out. Excellent question. Yeah. I was willing all along to discuss this issue. If you recall, when the Democrats shut the government down, and finally now they admit they did, for whatever reason, they say over these subsidies, they hurt people on SNAP, they hurt women, infants, and children, they hurt poor people, they hurt working people, they hurt the country. The issue of these subsidies is an important issue, but as you recall, I think we need to look at the overall system for reforms. As I understand these subsidies as they exist now, they're giving it to people who are sometimes 400 times the poverty level. So if we're going to help people, let's help people who are truly needy and not those who are not in need just for some hypothetical political win for the Democrats. But I still go back to the fact Democrats hurt themselves on a tangible issue that was outside the appropriation process. If they'd have continued to negotiate with our speaker, with Republicans, you would have found a lot of Republicans coming to the table to talk about that issue, but in its proper lane, outside the appropriation process, where it's always been.
Well, I'll tell you what, when everybody comes back at some point, there's going to need to be a funding mechanism. And as the appropriations man yourself, you just ticked through some of these spending bills. Do we really believe that you can get 12 spending bills passed and a government funded before January 30, or do we need another CR in there somewhere? Because whether it's now, January 30, February 30, it would be the first time in a generation, I think, that happened, Congressman.
Well, Joe, you raise an excellent point. Let me take it backwards to forwards. We do not need a government shutdown. It is always wrong to shut the government down. That's why I'm still furious with Chuck Schumer for this blatant lie, this myth that he perpetrated on the American people. Everybody in Washington, D.C., Democrats and Republicans, knew it was wrong. They did it for whatever reason. So we need to keep it open. Now, the best way to keep it open is with a budget. Of the 12 bills, we've got 3 of the bills done. So we've got 9 left. The reality is, I think we can probably get another 6 done, maybe 7, and then those balance of bills that perhaps are going to be harder to conference. I'll be specific. State and foreign ops, homeland security, those are harder bills. My bill, the energy and water bill, is a very non-controversial bill, tremendous bipartisan and bicameral support. The Senate is supposed to have their version out today. My version has been out and actually passed in the House for months. What I think we'll do is pass maybe 7 of the 12, maybe 8 of the 12, and then the balance of those bills work on a CR. So some type of what we call in D.C. a cromnibus. Part continuing resolution on those few bills we can't, but let's try to go for all 12 and see how many we can do. We've got 3 down, 9 to go. I'm hopeful for more.
All right. Fantastic. I need to ask you about the election that is looming, a special in your state of Tennessee, December 2nd, to fill former Representative Mark Green's seat. Democrats are putting a lot of money into this, and you might have seen some writing at Punch Bowl this morning. They're crunching numbers here. In a world in which Democrats flip that seat and get a couple of others here, keep Mikey Sherrill's seat in New Jersey, not to mention the one in Houston, the late Representative Sylvester Turner's seat.
Correct.
Republicans could have something like a 2-seat margin if this does not go your way. Will Tennessee, in our remaining moment, keep that from happening?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Looking at that, Chad Pergram had a very good article on the entire situation today. Punch Bowl did as well. Let me explain pretty much where this is. You're absolutely right. That
it's got to be quick, though. Sorry, sir.
Sir?
Just got to be quick. Sorry, only have about 30 seconds.
The Dems will win in Houston. Van Ips will win in Tennessee, maybe not by 20 points. He'll beat Afton Bain with ease. The New Jersey seat will be Democratic, and the Marjorie Taylor Greene will be Republican. We'll be up by probably 2 to 4 narrow margins, but we can govern with narrow margins.